with Helen Sara Johnson, who is amazing. If you haven't known about her before, you definitely need to find out some more. She is one of our authors in our new book, Empowering Women in STEM, and she has a very interesting chapter. And she talks about authenticity, which is something that we all need to find out more about. So Helen, I'm so glad that you're here with us this morning. Well, my morning, maybe your afternoon,
My
but
afternoon. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad that you're here. I wanted to, get our audience a little bit more acquainted with you. So tell us a little bit about your job, because you seem to have a very interesting job, and what you do.
So I work for a research and technology organisation.
Mhm.
It's part of the UK's Catapult Network. And the essence of the UK Catapult Network is to solve engineering problems that other organisations either can't or won't tackle. And so we figure out the art of the impossible, in essence.
Yeah, I like
But
that.
I'm not an engineer.
Oh, I love that even more.
So, however, I still impact and add value to the wicked problems that society faces, because
Mhm.
what I do is I coach, I
Yeah.
challenge, and in turn I develop people managers and directors across our organisation. So otherwise said, I work in HR, so human resources.
Yes, and guess what? We all need a little bit of that because
Oh,
not
yes.
everybody and I've seen this time and time again. We have a lot of problems, but sometimes we need different skill sets, and this is where diversity is so important. Diversity of skills, very important.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna ask,
Engineering is
yeah,
innovation, right? And
it is.
innovation requires heterogeneity. So
It does. It so does. I love how you put that. So let me ask you a little bit more about your chapter. Why did you write your chapter in this book?
well, I guess the chapter in essence started a little bit before
Hmm.
we got in contact.
Right.
And through work, I was given the opportunity to undertake a PhD. So that's a doctoral researcher
Nice.
position. And I could, in essence, research anything as long as it was to do with engineering.
Okay.
I chose authenticity for a number of reasons, really. I've worked in engineering for, I'm going to say, probably over 20 years now.
Hmm.
And I've always struggled to be myself at work
Right.
and to feel like I actually fit in.
Hmm.
And through my role as a HR practitioner, I've had many people, many women in particular, come and talk to me about how can I feel more me at work? How can I dress more like me? How can I, can I shave my hair? Can I dye it this color? Can I, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
And a lot of women have found it really difficult to move away from, the suits or the image that reflects the stereotypical male within the
Hmm.
workplace. So I've never studied authenticity before. I've never studied gender before. My background has been very much about shared parental leave and also, laws and legislation,
Hmm.
rather than the behaviour within work. Although I did do a psychology undergraduate. So as I've been going on this, it's been a part-time journey, so it's 6 years now, working
Yeah.
full-time as well. Going through that journey, I've learned so much that
Hmm.
I've had so much I want to share. And that has shaped over the years, as
Yep.
you'd naturally expect it to do.
Hmm.
So when you reached out and said, would I like to write a chapter? I instantly thought, well, hey, I've got a load of findings here that
Yes.
I would love to get out into a non-academic audience.
Hmm.
I'm not looking for a career in academia. I'm looking for impact. I really want to help people make a difference. Whether that is an organisation, an industry, a country, or, dream big and go wider
Yes.
than that. So the chapter really is around my PhD and the findings within.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love it. And in your chapter, without giving away too much, you talk and you make these correlations between the way that women show up at work
Yeah.
and the way that they show up in other places. So when I read it, I was like, wow, somebody really gets it. somebody understands what it is, women face, especially in these male-dominated, environments, because a lot of times you're trying to be part of the boys' club. You're trying to be, fit in and, make sure that you're part of the workplace, and you end up changing yourself a lot. And that's something that we should never do because we're here for specific reasons. And unless we execute our unique perspectives, then we're just like check boxes going, and that's it. Yeah, so I
Yeah,
love it.
no, it's not. And I think there's something really reassuring that came through in my research actually after I'd
Mhm.
written the chapter, and that is
Oh,
about how men experience
mhm.
inauthenticity as well as women.
Good.
It's not a gendered thing, but the impact of the
Right.
experience of inauthenticity is gendered. So that is why we see women leaving engineering at a
Mm-hmm.
faster rate than we do men, and women tend to leave engineering at a younger age
Yes.
than men. Um, so since the chapter explores authenticity and,
Right.
as you say, the impacts of those, I try really hard to detach some of this academic terminology
Mm-hmm.
from it all. The academic stuff is still there. It's founded on academic research, but I try to explain these experiences
Right.
through non-academic words. Now, the chapter only presents the quantitative side of my research.
Yes.
There is another study, which is the qualitative side, which is actually, I'm not going to say the really juicy part, but since I've written the chapter, what I've really found is that the quantitative and the qualitative data almost contradict itself.
Oh.
And that's more so in relation to men.
Mm.
Men are, through interviews, telling us that it's not a problem with them. They're fine. They don't feel that they have to necessarily conform to a workplace. They don't
Oh.
see the blockers and barriers that women face on a day-to-day basis. However, when you delve deeper into the quantitative data, so this is survey data,
Yeah.
and it comes from men in engineering across the UK, they actually tell us in that there are problems,
Yep.
that they really, they do mask, they are inauthentic, which I'm still drilling into and going, well,
Mm-hmm.
so what does all of this mean, how does all of this apply? And on the surface level, to me, it's really quite simple. The culture that we have in engineering isn't actually viable for
Mm.
the vast majority of people who work in it,
Yep.
irrespective of their gender.
Yep.
And
Yep.
if we can remove, it's what I know academically is that hegemonic,
Mm-hmm.
masculinity, alpha male, the top dog, whatever the language is within different cultures that describes that numero uno, competitive male. If we try to reduce some of that, actually we make a better place for everybody
Mm-hmm.
within engineering.
Yep.
Making a better place for everybody in engineering means that not only will we attract more men, we
Mm-hmm.
attract more women,
Mm-hmm.
and we attract more of I like to say non-binary or queer
Right.
colleagues that we have within engineering, and it makes it a really inclusive, psychologically safe place.
It
And that's where we
does.
need to get to.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we need to break down all those barriers. Get,
Absolutely.
we're just looking for the solutions. Like at the end of the day, we're just all trying to solve some of the issues. And the
Yeah.
best way to do that is to do it together. That's just, me randomly thinking out loud.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And I think there's something as well about getting men onto this agenda,
Hmm.
because I attended a conference. I
Hmm.
presented at a conference not so long ago. It was through work, and we had representatives, predominantly male, white, middle-aged
Hmm.
men, from our members. And we're really fortunate that we have nearly 100 members for people such as Thales, Jaguar
Right.
Land Rover, Rolls-Royce. There's some really big names out there, as well as the universities across the UK, which
Right.
specialise in engineering. And so I was presenting to an audience of about 80 people. and as I said, predominantly men. Now, after the presentation, it was quite interesting to watch who engaged, who actually came to talk to me, and what they said. Women were the ones that were really interested in the agenda, really interested in the topic. Men either wanted to relate it to one of their experiences or their experiences working in a female-dominated environment, or they wanted to pass me contact details for another woman. So, coming away from that conference, that's heightened, my thinking around how do we get men onto this agenda? How do we make change when actually the majority of people within engineering aren't on the same wavelength at the moment? And that is a whole different chapter.
Oh, yes, definitely. But something we need to explore, though. I'm glad that you brought it up because, like I said, the only way we could do this is working together and actually making that change and, moving forward as one, as a unit, because that's the only way we could make change. What would you say to inspire more people to join STEM fields? Because, I mean, you are not, an engineer, but you've been in the field for a very long time. So you've seen a lot.
Yeah, and joining STEM doesn't have to be about being an engineer. You can add impact and value in so many different ways. So, I think we need to, in one hand, yes, we need more women in engineering. We just need more diversity in engineering, full stop, so that we can face these wicked problems. But people shouldn't think that they need to be mathematical geniuses or, excelling in science. STEM is all about being creative. STEM is about numbers. STEM is about people. It's people who go out and create all of these amazing innovations. So it doesn't matter which way you look at STEM, you've got a role to play. So it's finding, a fantastic organization, someone, somewhere that actually aligns with your values and just going for it and enjoying it and be part of the change.
For sure, being part of the change. I love it. Thank you so much, Helen. I know you are a busy lady, very busy lady, but thank you so much for your time today. And if you haven't read Helen's chapter yet, you're missing out a lot, clearly a lot. So make sure you get your copy of the book. Check out Helen's chapter, and she's doing amazing things in terms of getting the research done and making that impact. Thank you so much, Helen, for your time today and for being an amazing author.
Oh, you're equally amazing. Thank you ever so much for having me, Sanya.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.